Let's expand the conversation with March in March coordinator Jacinta MaNgobese Zuma. A very good evening to you, Jacinta. Thank you for your time. You're demanding action to curb the influx of undocumented foreign nationals in the country. What did you seek to achieve today?
Today we were doing a follow-up, if I can call it that, which is basically us saying that we went to government last month in March. That's why the movement is called March in March. And we had a memorandum asking for them to take the issue of illegal immigration seriously. So after 30 days, we hadn't received a response, but we know that as per the culture, they expected us to give up and forget about it. So we said, we're going to march and march. That's why the movement is now called March and March, until we get a response for all the concerns that we have as citizens of this country. This entire movement started on social media, and it's just community members coming together and saying that we've had it. It's about time now that our government really takes us seriously when it comes to illegal immigration, because we're overpopulated and it's just not looking good for the future of this country.
So you've been dealt another blow because you were not able to hand in your memorandum of demands because the Speaker of the Legislature was not available. What does that mean for your next move?
I think for us, it's not only that actually that we've had to deal with. We've had a lot of things that we were dealing with behind the scenes. We've had even other places where the leadership of those areas was refusing to give people permission to march, because we've had the march in different places as well. We had it in Newcastle, Escort, we had it in PMB and other parts of KZN, and we had it in Johannesburg. Few people turned up in East London. So we had those challenges where, you know, people were wanting to be part of the movement, but somehow were facing threats. There was a lot of people being threatened that if they show up for the march, they'd be found and they'd be shot or killed. So it's been really difficult. And I think the more you dig deep and you realize how messed up everything is, you figure out that what we're fighting here is more than just for people to not come into the country illegally. We're fighting an entire system here that has made it easy for people to come into the country as and when they want to and how they wish. And when they get here, they're really moving in different circles and different rings that are organized. So that's why when you fight something like this, it's going to be a very difficult fight, because you're not just fighting the people that are coming into the country, you're fighting a whole lot of people as well.
Yeah. What was contained in your memorandum of demands?
We demanded for a few things, mostly the first one being strengthening the borders and making sure that coming into the country willy-nilly becomes a thing of the past. We also wanted for the restoration of law in the country so that we don't see such a high scourge in the crime rates. I mean, we just recently heard that a lot of organized crime is now attributed to foreign nationals, and that is really, really scary, especially those who are illegal. And we also spoke about matters of the Department of Home Affairs, where people are selling documentation to be South Africans, which speaks to the corruption and the rot that is actually happening in the country. And we've spoken about the influx and overcrowding of hospitals, of schools, where South African children don't have space in schools because everyone's already being told that space is occupied. We spoke of the Constitution as well, and the judiciary, and making sure that we have to change our Constitution and it has to prioritize South Africans. But in the meantime, we know that the judiciary can also look at the Constitution in a way that favors South Africans, because we know that there are ways that they can always look at the law and interpret it differently. So we are hoping that in the meantime, while we're still fighting the change of the Constitution, that they do look at making it more and more difficult to just let criminals go who have broken the South African laws. We've spoken of buildings, even the children that have died from tuck shops. Nobody has been brought to book so far. It seems like we're really living in a lawless country. And it can't be that it's just the ordinary people coming into the country that are parts of this. It speaks of something much bigger.
Yeah. Just this week, I mean, we saw 44 foreign nationals suspected of being trafficked, found by police in a home in Parktown, Johannesburg. It's the third such incident in as many months. What questions does such a trend indicate?
For us, like we've heard a lot of things when we talk of people, that this is not even people being brought into the country legally. Apparently, they're doing this. This is a huge. Apparently, they tend to be people who have been kidnapped because they seek asylum. That's how they apply and get asylum status, because they were here. But like I said, in South Africa, it seems like there's a ring for everything. There's a ring for drugs. There's a ring for human trafficking. There's a ring now for tuck shop and spaza owners. There's a ring for cheap labor. It just speaks of a country that is yearning to have leaders that actually lead. You know, you can't have a country where everyone just wants to come in and do as they please. And once they get here, they become rude, they become arrogant, they become pompous. You can't be telling citizens of that country that we're not going anywhere. We're here to stay. South Africa is for all South Africans. And you, as a citizen of a country, there are places that you can't go to because you're scared of these people, because they're so protected by the law, by the police, by everyone else. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous.
So what's your call to action? I mean, I understand that you've since set up a meeting with the Speaker of the Legislature, who was unavailable today. What happens next? When does that meeting take place?
We're hoping that we can get some meeting. I mean, we're looking forward to putting in more work and more action as much as possible. But we also know that it starts with the communities themselves. We're trying to change the mindset around a lot of people in communities who just think of themselves that I'm renting this space out, so therefore I'm getting this 2,000 Rand a month. And they don't see the bigger picture of everything else that's happening, because we've got people who've been closed-minded for a very long time to believe that you need this 2,000 or this 350 to survive, or else there's nothing else that you can do. Bigger picture, we have been calling on government to firstly even put up 30 days for illegal immigrants to themselves voluntarily leave the country, and call on the SANDF to say, if you do not leave the country in the 30 days that you've been given, we're going to be deporting people in numbers. So we're calling for mass deportation. At the moment, we can no longer sustain these people. We can no longer have enough space for everyone. The crime rates, the unemployment rates, the number of children that they bring into the country, it's just too exhausting. And South Africa does not have the capacity anymore to be home to the whole of Africa. So we call on our government, we call on our president, the GNU, anyone that's involved in making decisions for the country, to please make this an urgent matter, because we don't have blue lights, we don't have security, we don't have this. And by us speaking out, we don't know who we've triggered or made angry, but we're not going to stop speaking out. We just want the country to go back to its former glory. We fought apartheid. We can't now be fighting foreigners, honestly.
And very quickly, what about those who may accuse you of bordering on xenophobia? What's your comment to that?
Well, I said this earlier, and I'm going to say it again, that xenophobia is now used as a way to gaslight South Africans into silence. And it's not going to work anymore. Really, it's not going to work, because I'm saying this and I'm pleading with government to please make sure that you do something about it, because you can see that the South African citizens are getting more and more frustrated every day with not being heard, with not being listened to, with not being given what they're asking for. And all they're asking for is bring back law into the country, because illegal immigration is a crime. So it's not like we're asking for something untoward, or we're asking for people to be killed or stabbed just by being here. No, we're saying there's too many illegal immigrants that are committing crimes, that are taking over our hospitals, our schools, and the next thing, everyone just wants to give them documents. That's not a solution. You don't know these people. You don't know their history. Take them back to where they come from and allow South Africa to breathe, and allow our economy to breathe, and let South Africans get jobs. Put South Africans first. There's no xenophobia in that. It's just a simple way that all countries operate, because even in their countries, they're not going to allow you to just walk in and just take over like that. So why are we allowing that? It's not xenophobia at all.